Hi, welcome back. It's me, Kyria, playing this Hiveswap and controlling him, Zephyros. While I look at that TV. Oh, I can change the channel. That's what's going on. Okay. That's the... It looks like weather, but it's also showing some ominous looking things. Okay. So, rich trolls, error, neato. Alright, so let's start back at the back of this room and work our way around it. I want to look at this. You subscribe to a wide variety of hit periodicals. Arena Stickball Illustrated, Grubs Diurnally. Those are actually the only titles you know. The rest always incorporate the magazine's name on the cover into some slick graphic design to the point that you can't actually tell what the name is. The one with the graffiti of a muscle beast throwing up is usually about movies, though. That's the dream, man. Get yourself on the cover of one of these babies. Preferably not the talentless nobodies, though. Frankly, you're not even sure why you're subscribed to that one. Bent spoons are in, or rather, a single bent spoon is in. It is in your Silodex. Your flirt manual does have some information about magazines, but they're kind with bullets. You don't have any of those around unless your Tetrarchdamic has, Oh god. But they're the kind with bullets. You don't have any of those around unless Tetrarchdamic has hidden some secret animal caches throughout your hive again without telling you. Correction, you probably have thousands of those around. You probably wind up just accidentally ripping the covers off, which would destroy their value to collectors. The latest issue of Arena Stickball Illustrated has a big expose on chalking your cube at. They're claiming it doesn't really do anything to enhance your performance. You're more than a little disappointed to see this once proud publication resort to preposterous lies to grab attention. Everyone knows that Cubat chalk is the pulsing lifeblood of the sport of lords. If you say so. Now, I was wondering, can I click this and be her? I can! I don't think it serves a purpose, I was just wondering. We'll go back to him. Okay, and yeah, I can't seem to click any of those pictures. Although, you designed your hive around this tree, hoping it would grow along with you and your Lessus. You know a sad song about a tree, but you don't feel like singing it right now. Maybe another time. Maybe you can carve Tetrarchdamic and friend Zephyros forever. But, oh gosh, you would, of course, ask his permission first. Inferior trees grant +3 to your decor's whimsy. Interior trees grant +3 to your whimsy stat decor room inside. Yes, got it. Messed up. You did it. You moved a leaf. Aw, yay. Go you. A big branch fell off this tree during a solar storm, and you carved it into the cubet you now carry. Oh, cool. There's like dishes and shelves and a couple of just really old, nasty-looking couches. The floor looks like it's actually just covered in fur. Oh, it's Les's fur. Got it. As a Rustblood, you're not permitted to have luxurious circular discs, only standard hexagons. That's so sad. Ugh, the theme song isn't really something you can sing, just a lot of beeps. The hero of this show once took someone's eye out with a spoon and ate it. It was gruesome, but the security of the Empire was at stake. When you play a game, you can passively engage... why play a game when you can passively engage a narrative? Better not. Even powers as weak as yours will erase data like a magnet. No, you saved up for weeks for this box set, and it promises to offer at least 1/7 of 1 week of entertainment. Okay, can't use anything on that stuff. Tree some more. So, this area was actually pretty sparse in terms of stuff to look at and do. Oh, there's the Lessus. I have a feeling talking to that is going to be a story thing, so let's check out this room first. If you went out this way, you'd be easy prey for a drone before you could even make it to Tetrarch Damix. You mean to save Joey. That's what you meant. It's too dangerous to leave this way. The drones could see you. Safest bet is to go through the back door. They'll probably spot you there too, but, well, your hive only has so many doors. Okay, can't use things on door. Okay, so I do have to go through the Lessus then. Let's click on everything except my Lessus. Aw, you can hear him snoring. Your grub slurry agitator is nice for when you just want to throw some unagitated grub slurry into the agitating receptacle and enjoy some grub slurry that's been thoroughly agitated. Oh my god. You don't currently have any unagitated grub slurry that needs agitating in your grub slurry agitator. When you do, though, you always know right where to go. Oh, hell no. You might as well just go out the door right now and find a drone to kill you, because putting inorganic material in the grub slurry receptacle of your grub slurry agitator is a death wish. Oh, man. If your telekinesis were powerful enough to agitate grub slurry, you wouldn't need a grub slurry agitator in the first place. Dare to dream. Sorry, sometimes my tongue gets twisted with all these made-up words. Okay. These are still in here? Bioslaw really doesn't keep well. Eating unranged cluck beast ova, god damn it, is a great way to fill your acid tubes with horrifying parasites, who probably wouldn't get along with your benevolent parasites, or your benign parasites? Sometimes when you're feeling especially rebellious, wish all the toppings weren't reserved for high bloods. Ah, delicious grub sauce. Hand-sauced from, You're not sure, actually. You don't ask about grub sauce. That's not what you do with grub sauce. Left over from Tetrarch Damix's early wriggling day party. He doesn't turn 7 sweeps old for a couple wipes, but you wanted to celebrate with him before his rites of maturation. Grub juice hydration cylinders. Inside these cylindrical containers is grub juice, which can be used for hydration and restoring reserves of psychic power. You pick up the grub juice hydration cylinders. Nice! Now if you need a quick restorative for your psychic stamina, you'll just have that in your hand, instead of not having it, like some kind of chump. Always useful in case you need to whip up a souffle. You're so bad at that. You're bad at that, but it's a mandatory part of your future job, so... Okay. Over here on the table, a playbook for Burgundy Blood pusher position in an arena stickball. You still have dreams of being a star pusher, and studying these killer plays was going to help take you to the top. But your play on the field never quite lived up to the athletic promise of your fantasies. Also, the closer your rites of maturation get, the more the sobering reality sinks in that you'll never get to play professionally. Life of butlering, here you come, you guess. Look at that! It's nearly escaped from your impending death o'clock. You'd better not be late. You don't put a clock to your drinking. You generate some truly impressive verse utilizing a time motif. For some reason, time and rapping seem inextricably linked in your head. Yeah. Trying to hold the minute hand in place actually sounds like a pretty good TK exercise once you're tired of ruining your silverware. There's a whole section about using the time of day to encrypt messages. Damek is always trying to teach you this stuff, but it's so hard to keep track of, and also to care about. You turn the minute hand back slightly. Oh, if only it were that easy, to turn back time, to undo the mistakes of... Oof. Actually, that minute hand thing kind of wore you out a bit. Sounds like a great way to just completely destroy an unsuspecting clock for no reason. You don't put a clock to your... What? Really? It's just acting like it's the clock? But it's not, it's the playbook. Maybe I'm just not supposed to be messing with that. Like that. The game has some bugs when I do things it doesn't expect me to do. Arena Stickball is played in 2 11-hour halves. It's grueling. Also, I need to use all my things on each other. I'll do that in a minute. Oh, hell no. You might as well just go out that door right now and find a drone to kill you because blah, 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 blah. This is grub juice, not grub slurry. It has no business being anywhere near the grub slurry receptacle. With both these things in hand, you've got everything you need to perform a respectably complex, lengthy psychic arena stickball maneuver. There aren't any pusher plays that incorporate wrapping, but there aren't any particularly that prohibit wrapping either. Any that particularly prohibit. You're not allowed to bring improvised weapons on the Velvet. There are plenty of regular weapons there already, so it would be kind of redundant. Oh. You compare the rules for playing Flarp to the playbook for your for ruling, you mean playing Arena Stick Flarp, Stickball, you mean, and you reference both and determine that you have a headache. Your pusher playbook advises that you rely heavily on telekinesis, something you're not all that comfortable doing, as your telekinesis is not all that reliable. You tend to lead with your Cubat. There's a lot in here about the modern consensuses on how you should hold your Cubat. The right grip, level stance, keep your head down, swing your hips, eyes on the ball, good hustle, ice your knee, etc. You've never really paid any of it mind. Or paid anything mind. The first time you saw a poster of Zoltan Matzos holding his Cubat, you knew how you were going to hold it for the rest of your life. Playing with power, achievement unlocked. Let's see. This stuff really doesn't do your voice any favors, possibly because your throat partially closes up in protest by the time you finish half a cylinder. You're actually able to bend an entire spoon without refreshing your reserves with grub juice. You couldn't always, so you suppose that's improvement. Wow. There actually are stats for grub juice in your Flarp manual, due to regrettable cross-platform brand awareness licensing campaign. Restores depleted psyche mana. Well, okay. You'll keep that in mind. As soon as you find a good use for your telekinesis, this grub juice will help you accomplish it. You actually wait, you usually wait until you finish drinking a grub juice before you smash the cylinder. I think I already tried all these with each other, yeah. So... let's go all over the house and try everything on everything. Hooray! As usual, your pusher playbook is being torn apart in the reviews section of Arena Stickball Illustrated. None of the reviews are actually written by pushers, though. It's usually just Violet Nobles talking about how disgusting, how it's disgusting that they have to look at Rustbloods when they want to watch Arena Stickball. Or just talking about whatever they want, really. If a royal wants to talk about the sandwich he didn't finish earlier, they can get published. They can get that published wherever they want. Plenty of ads for grub juice in the pusher section of Arena Stickball Illustrated, the only section of the magazine you're legally permitted to read. Oh my god. Oh, this poor kid. Just poor troll society as a whole. The lead on this show plays by his own rules. It's cool. On the Velvet, though, that'd get you cold. You should really get some just get some coasters. You consider using the zigzag incline to move to a different area of your hive. Zigzag incline. God. I'm gonna be so alien. You don't really build up any muscle that'd be useful in Arena Stickball by pushing the old smear spinner around. It's just too easy, what with the smearing and the spinning. It practically pulls you along behind it. That was some pretty hollow false enthusiasm if you're being real with yourself. You use a special smear gunk for the smear spinner. You don't just shoot any old gunk in there. You wonder if the frequent toil of scour bristling has made you a better pusher? Well, maybe better than you would be without it, but not better than the other pushers, since almost all of them are pushing a scour tray around their hallways, too. Scouring the floor with grub juice would be sort of a step backwards. Many of these cleaning supplies could be combined into improvised weapons, but that would be cheating, and Rustblood cheaters get cold before they can blink. Grub juice isn't gritty enough to get a good scour going. You feel like you're pulled in so many different directions these days. Arena stickball practice, Slammer Get Cold, the Rebellion, the Grubbles, in a non-SOGC capacity. I don't know what that stands for. Plus, somewhere in there, you're supposed to be training to pass your rights, just in case you can't close the deal on any of those other interests. Thank goodness you have Tetrarch Damek to tell you what's really important. Winners on Slammer Get Cold get tons of sponsorships, but Grub Juice is really more of a sports-themed beverage-adjacent semi-liquid. It doesn't have the sizzle and glamour of the lifestyle brands that SOGC attracts. Slammer Get Cold is SOGC. Okay, I'm a dummy. Yeah. Man, that thing is going to be useful for something later. Doesn't want me using stuff on it. Ever since you joined Damek's band, you haven't really had a chance to practice your pusher maneuvers very much, which is fine, of course. It's not a big deal. It's just a dumb game, like the Tetrarch says. Oh. You and Tetrarch Damek haven't secured any endorsements, obviously, because that would be a betrayal of his principles. Your pusher playbook recommends that you always keep your gear in working order, which is kind of an obvious thing to recommend. It barely counts as a tip. It's also very difficult to actually do, since pushers get brutalized out there. No grub juice stains on any of these. Not that you don't spill on yourself, of course. You just get a lot of practice done, a lot of practice laundry done during your butler training. You have to account for the effects of all different balls when you're the pusher, since you're the only one allowed to score. Touch the dozer with your hands and you fall asleep in seconds. The stitcher is a loose pile of yarn that has to be rolled up into a ball before it can be used to score. It makes a tempting distraction for the opposing team's prowler, etc. The tracer will try to follow the path it was taken on in a match before, and the finisher will only move on a predetermined path to the goal, hopefully your opponent's. There are lots more. It's a lot to keep track of, frankly. You could shake it up and spray the chunky beverage all over your nice lighting fixture. But why? Why would you? You just love it. It reminds you of your favorite thing, Arena Stickball. And I haven't commented on it yet, but I love how all the balls in Arena Stickball are obviously pool balls. And he got a trophy of a cue ball, which, yeah. Ugh. Recurring motifs. Your pusher playbook recommends that you should be sure to get plenty of sleep before any big match, which is kind of incredibly obvious, but okay. It's also easier said than done sometimes. You just get so excited. It's good to hydrate before you sleep. The Sopper Slime is actually very physically and mentally draining. It's not unheard of for it to severely injure trolls who are already in bad health when they go to sleep. With all the rules, sharp hazards, and circles, you can almost imagine your Weregrid study scroll is actually a page from your pusher playbook if you really, really try. If anyone were to commit outrageous faux pas of drinking grub juice at a fancy dinner... Improvised weapons are prohibited on the Velvet unless you improvise them from something you find on the playing field itself, like somebody's torn off leg or whatever. Then it's fair game. Maybe when you're done with these, you can crush the can with your mind, by which you mean crush it against your nug bone. You try to tell yourself that your butler training will translate into skills that you can also use on the Velvet playing field of Arena Stickball, but it's hard to make yourself believe it. It's important to pour the grub juice down the side of the glass so it maintains its turgidity. Oh my god, it sounds so insanely disgusting every time they say anything about it. So let's go back to the rumpus room. Okay. Music in here is just so upbeat. It's hard to strategize new plays using these guys when there's just 2 of them, unless it's strategies for if most of the team has been killed, of which there are many. Thirsty little guys, huh? Thirsty little guys? Heh, you're just kidding around. You know they aren't alive. They don't have needs like thirst or hunger or the deep and echoing loneliness that never truly leaves you even in crowds. Oh my god, I'm so glad I went back to finish that one. Let's see, helmet. Ah, here we go. Helmet. Wear one. Okay, maybe you've contributed a little to this helmet being worn out, what with the all the empty grub juice cans you've crushed against it. The plays offered by your pusher playbook aren't really applicable to tabletop arena stickball. Since the game is necessarily simplified, there's almost no chance of the tiny plastic pushers being horribly maimed and needing to crawl to safety. Oh my god. Those round gaps at the corners and sides are goal sockets, not hydration cylinder holders. Oh, obviously, like, half the plays in here were Matzos originals. He really reinvented the pusher position, brought some real dignity to it, which is probably why they humiliated and called him, but they can't kill his spirit. Zoltan surely didn't need cheap pick-me-ups like this to keep his telekinesis going. He was like a river of power that everyone else had to swim in or drown. Astonishingly, there weren't any plays that incorporate comfortable furniture. What do you think this is? Yacht racing with a bunch of violet bloods? Your splay sack, a chair bag filled with stopper slime. Proximity to the slime... Wait, what is it? I already did that. Okay. There's a lot of strategies in here for the best way to score with each ball and how to avoid getting killed by them and that kind of stuff. A lot about that kind of stuff, really. The crest of the Alternian Pro Arena Stickball League, with all 15 balls. In a real game of Arena Stickball, these are all different sizes and each has its own distinct powers. Grub juice is great after a game, or during. Sometimes you have one right in the middle of the action, just to get you through it. You lay down some pretty complex verse in which you compare yourself to the various balls in sequence, likening their attributes to various elements of your own personality and history. Wow, it's really good. You should write it down before... it's gone. You look into the concave side of the bent spoon, hoping the distorted reflection of the stickball crest will allow you to escape your preconceptions and see the game in a whole new way, just completely destroying everyone with your sick lateral thinking and non-traditional playstyle. No dice. You consult your Flart manual to determine the power level of the various orbs. No surprise, the snowball is the deadliest. You're glad that's a fake one. Yeah, it would be the deadliest. The balls are all set in there pretty firmly. You could maybe wobble the whole thing off the wall, but you really don't want to break it. Also, you're really unsure about your ability to wobble it off the wall, and that would be an embarrassing thing to fail at. Nope, that doesn't do anything, and... yeah, this is a pretty classic pusher maneuver. You actually pause it right here in order to get a better look at her form. Look at the way she's pivoting her whole body in the air to give her Cubat extra heft on impact. She's also giving a bat a nice jolt of extra force from her telekinesis, a pro move that's very difficult to execute properly. Grub juice companies are heavy sponsors of the various arena stickball teams, though only at the pro level, of course. Minor league scrubs rely on more arena stickball-centric endorsements like Cubats or helmets, which barely cover the cost of wear and tear and significant injury. The plays are already in the game. You basically just... pick which one you want to execute and then try not to screw it up too bad. Grub juice doesn't actually make you any better at video games, and they aren't really strenuous enough to make you need to rehydrate. It's like Damek says, brutally authoritarian capitalist marketing is full of pretty lies. Did I already use other stuff on the game controller? Yeah. No, I want to use everything else on that first. Oh, never mind. Dang it. For some reason I thought the book would do it. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh god. Yay! Aw, look at him! Now you can get the sloth treats! What a trial that was! Luckily he has such a slow metabolism. You already got the sloth treats! You should hurry and help your new friend, pronto! Aw, I missed a dialogue. There are dozens of maneuvers for interacting with friendly, neutral, and opposing Lessuses on the Velvet. You're just straight up not allowed to feed them, though. He doesn't really like grub juice, and you don't really like sloth treats, so this wouldn't appeal to anyone. You think you'll call this hypothetical recipe the perfect compromise. This bad boy is not powered by sloth treats, unlike the bad boy who is your sloth dad. Or who is your sloth dad. Is this protest art? You make a mental note to tell the Tetrarch later. Maybe he'll be impressed. The Flart manual states that consuming pet food to regain a minuscule amount of HP is a totally valid move, but nobody ever actually does that. Come on. It's a shame your telekinetic endurance isn't potent enough to allow you to lug these sloth treats around without actually touching them. That way you could spare yourself the burden of having them stink up your hands and pockets. The two most necessary implements of sloth wrangling. The sloth treats. There they are, yours for the grabbing. You grab the sloth treats. You know just what to do with these. Achievement unlocked. Treat time. Alright, and yeah. Okay, so that was the same as just interacting with it from the memory. After all the work you did to get these out, you're going to at least hold on to them for a little while. Anyway, anywhere you leave these, he's bound to find them, so you'd rather not leave them inside of things you don't want slowly torn in half. Sloths aren't really that common among the Lessuses featured in Arena Stickball. They don't really make for exciting blood sport, as they're sort of way the heck too slow. You don't have to feed the controller. It's self-sustaining right up until it dies from starvation. Then the mother console just slates a new one. Oh, that's all he needs, because he's obviously having so much trouble finding a comfortable place to relax. I love the console thing. It's You wonder what kind of Lessus your hero Zoltan Matzos had. You kinda hope that he had a glacial tree trudger like you. He's not really a huge fan. You mean, he backs the snow globes, obviously, and he's huge, of course, but he's pretty relaxed about his support. There are no tiny Lessuses on the field in Tabletop Arena Stickball, which means the tiny Wranglers don't really have much to do. They just spin helplessly along with their teammates. He'd tear right through this thing, even if he ever felt like it. He's really strong. You don't want him accidentally eating one of your bobble nugs. Not that he'd choke or anything. You just like these. And you'd rather not poison your pet dad, thanks. He wouldn't eat these if he got anywhere near the Scour Dry if they got anywhere near the Scour Dry Resifluid. He's kind of a snob sometimes. No? Doesn't do anything? Be that way. Let's see if they do anything in my room. Your biggest fan in every sense. Unfortunately, Lessuses are barred from voting unless you're a high-blood, in which case your Lessus can eat everyone on stage if they want to. Your Lessus isn't a huge fan of your band, which is lucky because, wow, that would be embarrassing if your biggest fan was your own Lessus. Sometimes you think about keeping a couple extra sloth treats in the pockets of your clothes, just to have them on hand when you need them. But if you could just leave treats out without your Lessus finding them and destroying whatever holds them, you wouldn't have to keep them in a huge vault in the first place. Holding a treat up here would just result in your nice arena stickball lamp being torn off from the ceiling as your Lessus kept leapt up to grab it, since there's no way in the world it can support his weight. Lessuses don't need to sleep in Recuperacoons because they're not afflicted with the violent and troubling impulses that your own species is. Or at least your Lessus isn't. Your Lessus isn't. There are some pretty nasty ones out there. If you mix these together, the next time you came up here, there'd be a lot fewer spoons in these pile, and you'd have a lot more spoons in another, smellier pile that your Lessus shed. Your Sloth is a low-blood Lessus, so he won't ever have a butler attending to him. Except you guess. Alright, and then we'll go downstairs into the living room. Or whatever weird Alternian word for living room that they use. There's no ads for sloth treats in these. It's a pretty uncommon Lessus, so they tend to focus on direct marketing. No? Nope. Come on. Not letting me even try to click on stuff. It would... That's so weird. It's like, this is no longer clickable? Huh. I don't know why. Oh well. There's any reactions there. I'm not going to see him this playthrough. And use it on the clock. You don't really schedule his feedings. It makes it easier to tempt him out of your way with a treat whenever he blocks your path when with his slumbering enormity. Which happens pretty regularly. You guess technically he's scheduling the feedings? Your Grubsolary Agitator is not equipped with a sloth treat receptacle to your eternal humiliation. Okay, and then try clicking on him without it. Aw, dang it. Your Lessus is sleeping somewhere totally inconvenient again. Come on, wake up, Zoo Smell? Really? And I'm not allowed to change it, they're just pretending I can type. Aw. Zoo Smell is in the way again. For a change, just keeping things interesting, you guess. Move? You ask Zoo Smell to move. At first you're friendly and casual, as if you expect him to move easily. Then you try being polite, but a little distant. Your tone becomes annoyed, then firm, followed by stern, and finally shifting to angered. Nothing works. You just can't reach him lately. The only thing that Zoo Smell seems to care about is his sloth traits. He tends to rely more on raw, indolent instinct than on tactics. He's very particular about his diet. He only eats sloth treats, and he only eats a lot of them. You fire off from the hip about some absolutely devastating verse about your Lessus, and about Lessuses in general, and their inability to comprehend the struggles of their wards, due to a lethal combination of being too old, too corny, and too much dumb monster animals instead of people. He retaliates by continuing to be asleep. You're wrecked. He just wants the sloth treats. Giving me an empty spoon is kind of rude in that context. He's not really into flarp, and also can't read, and also is a sloth. Ah, who are you kidding? You can barely lift a spoon without passing out. If he's gonna be moved, it's gonna have to be him doing the moving. Gotta make him, want to, you guess. You'd never take a swing at your Lessus. Not that he'd even feel it if you did. He's very strong. Things are looking pretty dicey out there, but Joey Alien needs your help. Your Lessus is obeying his bestial parental instincts to protect you from danger by blocking the doorway. Good dad. Best sloth. Either that, or he just fell asleep there. Alright, so that about does it for this episode. In the next one, I'm gonna move the sloth and go out the back door. So, thanks for joining me. Until next time, I'll be right back.